this out for that.
Hey, how's that adrenaline levels, everybody?
Welcome. Here we go. You guys aren't used to that one, huh? You guys aren't
Hey,
used to
or
that
this, right? The two most dangerous people just hosting today. We don't have
one. You guys,
any regulators now, so watch
somebody
out.
go get your freaking hand grips.
Yep,
Flex your
hand grips
forearm.
in one hand, popcorn in the other, and get your bendy straw and drink some of that Red Bull because we're going in. All right.
Oh
All
my
right,
God.
Asif. What's up, man? But not last week, but second to last week of the year. How you feeling?
Uh-huh. Oh my God,
You
dude.
feeling good now, bro?
Feeling good now. Feeling better every day.
Dude, I heard this profound affirmation the other day. Never thought of
Oh,
it. Every day, in every way, I'm getting better, better, and better.
okay, I got a good one for you.
Dude, write that one down.
Shit, 1 second, dude. Fuck,
Wait,
man.
hang on. That involves a lot of responsibility, actually. If I'm being really self-honest with myself,
can't handle that.
don't write it down.
I can't even spell, dude. So I'm just gonna listen to it and say it.
I would say
I got one
spells
for you.
right there, but you can't spell. So
Exactly. I can't spell, dude.
yeah. Just
Life
grab
is
that
for
emotional
laughing,
guidance system.
living, loving.
Hey.
How about that emotional guide system? Imagine we were comedians.
That's how I like to
We're
be
like,
myself every day.
that's
I
how
do
I
my
see you
stand-up
every day.
routines. Jessica's like trying to go to sleep. I'm like, Jess, okay, hang on. I'm like, yo, remember when you're in an airplane and then they're like, hey,
Airplane.
wear your mask. And they're like, wait, but do you want pretzels or do you want ginger ale? And then
You
I'm
take
like,
your mask off for
and I'm
15
like,
minutes.
oh. And then they're like, what? It's like, can you put your mask down, sir? I can't understand. Yeah. Every time I fly. That's why I don't like to fly. That's why we road trip.
That's a pro tactic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we just bring all the ginger ale that we want and all the pretzels that we want.
Oh, damn, dude. Abundance. You want to hear the number one best business advice I've ever heard, Mitch?
Wait, hang on. Everyone in the comments, leave the best business advice you've ever heard, and then leave another comment with what you think Asif's best business advice is that he's
we're gonna give it a minute. I'm not even gonna drop my best.
Yeah.
I'm not even
Take your time.
I'm gonna
Write it
wait.
out.
I'm legitimately not even gonna say it until you guys
At all till next week's episode.
Seriously, I'm not even joking, man.
Nice, bro.
I'm not even gonna say it until I see you guys comment in the YouTube section. If you're on Spotify, get on YouTube and just drop the comment.
Yeah.
Guys, think about how hilarious that would be. Do it for the YouTube. Is that a thing?
Well, I know do it for the gram. I don't know if they do that with
Vine.
YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Asif, tell me. My anxiety is at all
saw
time.
Alan McDonald commented in the chat. I saw Jesper commented.
Hey, I saw Sandra. She's like, I love this.
Yes.
Shout out Sandra.
Cameron commented. Okay. Cameron's sleeping right down the hall over there.
Wow.
So Cameron, the coach are here.
Nice. I saw a picture of that. That'd be fun.
So yeah, it's already fun. It's great.
In your mansion, in your Florida mansion. I saw you and Drake hanging up a light bulb in your chandelier.
Oh man, I'll post a picture of the Christmas tree we put up. Shit is massive.
Yeah? Is it like a palm tree? Because you're in Florida?
Nah, there's still Christmas.
It's like an agave plant.
Straight up just coconuts.
Just a pile of coconuts.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
made it look really beautiful because you know how
exactly. There's like lights on it and everything. Okay, the best business advice I've ever heard. Don't focus on the lack of it. There's no more to it. Want is lack. So if you want something, you lack it. That's why you're poor.
Bro, way too much cognitive dissonance just went up within me because I've been saying that I want a black Mercedes for so long.
Yeah, you're fucked.
No, okay, I want to be fucked. Wait, I mean, I want to fuck.
You want to fuck, so you're
wait, no. Okay. How about I just give me like 10 minutes. Gonna go with Jessica in the other room.
No. Go do affirmations instead and just visualize it. Because
Mm.
Mitch, if the only way you're going to actually be able to get that is if you visualize it and get the feeling as if you already have it. So at that point, you won't even need it. So don't go and actually go with just turn your camera off. Turn your camera off and just take a couple minutes. Right?
Keep the mic on or keep the mic off.
I want to hear. I think the people want to hear.
Leave a comment if you want to hear.
Leave a comment if you want to hear Mitch visualizing. Period.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man.
Here's the juice. Here's the actual juice. Here's something that an actual mentor of mine actually said to both of us. He asked us, "Do you want to be a millionaire?" Right? And we're like, "We want to be billionaires, right?" He's like, "Okay, so you want to be a billionaire?" And we're like, "Yeah." And he's like, "That's why you'll never be a billionaire." And we were like, "What?" This is Avery Williams.
Yeah.
Built a Fortune 500 company. And he said, "What are you talking about?" Right? We're both, honestly, we were like, okay, like we're waiting. We're like, what the hell is he talking? Because there wasn't very many words that I said right there. I want to be a billionaire. Like, so where's the flaw in it? And he said, you have to need to be a billionaire. You never do. For those of you listening, if you just look around at the people in your life, do they get what they want out of life? I always say this, you don't get what you want out of life. You get what you're programmed for. You get what you need. So what does it mean to need to be a billionaire? Right? Everybody says it in 100 different ways. Focus on the Simon Sinek. What does he say? Start with the
why.
It's the same thing over and over again. But what does that mean practically? It's like, if you don't understand this yet, you are light years behind. Money is a how. Money is a how. You don't just buy a power supply. You don't just buy batteries. You buy batteries because you know you want to use it to power something. It'd be kind of weird if you're just into just having batteries all the time. Right? Oh, I got to save up. I got to save up for when I do need something. Yeah, that's a slavery mindset, to save. The real value behind becoming a billionaire is not having $1 billion. Mitch, man, when you used to think about being a millionaire, okay, when you used to think about it, back in the day, right? It's like, because I know a lot of people like go through this. I asked somebody about this, but didn't you like imagine like $1 million in the bank or something like that?
Yeah. It was like I could visualize which bank accounts, which investment accounts, that kind of thing. And it was just like, it's there and it's there. And now I can feel at peace.
Right, exactly. But it's like, if you were actually a millionaire, you would be fucking retarded to have $1 million in cash. Right. But that's how I used to think about it. That's how I'm a millionaire. I got $1 million in cash in the bank. Right.
It's just so slavery mindset, because it's like you just have had such a want for that bank account number to be at least, a place where you're comfortable enough.
Right.
Yeah. And then it's like, well, let me just take it to the extreme. Let me put $1 million in there. It's like, then you try and go to the bank, be like, okay, I'd like to withdraw my $1 million. They're like, sir, you can't do that. There's a daily limit to how much you can take out.
Right. It's like, try to send a wire of 250K or even like 60,000. And the manager's coming over and they're questioning you and they're questioning you and they're questioning you after the teller just questioned you and questions you and question you. And you see them every fucking month, every 2 weeks. Doesn't matter. It's like, I remember it was like 50 or 70K. And it was with like somebody that I've known since high school. And they're like, okay, like, are you sure that what is this for? Right? They ask you all the questions of what it's for, but then they're like, do you trust this person? Like, I don't know if they think that they like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, man, they think you're sending it to some Nigerian prince wannabe.
Right, exactly. Like, I'm getting coerced into sending 50 to 70K. Man, and here's the more interesting thing, Mitch. Why did they start doing that? Is because a bunch of people were a bunch of people didn't have the education
Mhm.
to know who they're doing business with.
Yeah.
So they implemented that.
Yeah.
Wow. So what does
Well,
it mean
well,
to
and the bank, right? The bank operates very differently than the average person. And so the bank is doing things with that money, right? So they may not necessarily have that in reserves to just, do your bidding. So that's why, and I'm so glad Avery's also instilled this within me too. He's helped me to instill this within myself. That's a more accurate way of saying it, is think like a bank, think like a finance company, think like an insurance company. That's taken me, 2 years of steady effort to really now, like I actually have that now. And obviously a long way to go, but it's like that type of thinking where you can get just that growing base. So you have that residual, cash flow coming in. But then what do you do with the cash? Do I just sit there and watch it accumulate? It's like sometimes, but it's for a specific purpose. I tell you that much.
No, that's one thing I really want to touch on is, and you have been exemplar of this point, Mitchell. But let's let the people stew on it for a moment. Okay. I'm going to name 3 words and it's going to be in no particular order. Okay. You know what I'm talking about, right? You know
Oh, dude.
Okay.
Triangle.
Okay.
I know you're talking about that triangle of the all-seeing eye that's on the back of the dollar bill.
That's so good. Oh my
Maybe
God.
that's what it's symbolic of.
Dude, the funniest thing, the one thing that I could listen to all day is you talking about conspiracy theories. But not just like, actual conspiracy theories, is like you also joking about potential.
Maybe that should be my stand-up bit. I'll test that one on Jessica tonight.
That'd be good.
She's like trying to go to sleep.
Yeah, if she falls asleep, you lose. If you see the like a blanket kind of thing, and it's like bumping around, then you win. Okay. Okay, in no particular order. People, business, and money. Okay, so remember those 3 words: people, business, and money. And here's the question: what do the elite prioritize? If you have to list those 3 words in order of importance or significance, what do the elite prioritize? And I'm not naming them in any order. It's people, money, business, or business money people, or money business people, or et cetera, et cetera. Okay, give it a moment. Think about it. Let them stew, Mitch. I'm just giving as I want to receive.
In the meantime, here's my joke. Okay.
I'm laughing already.
Okay.
Just the fact that you're saying
here's a great joke.
Oh man.
What did Santa bring the leaders of the World Economic Forum for Christmas?
Hey, Mitch, what did Santa bring the leaders of the World Economic Forum for Christmas?
Nothing, because they were on the Illuminati list.
No! Oh shit, dude.
That's called high processing ability right there.
Dude, there's no way you came up with that
on the
yourself.
Spot, bro.
You had to have channeled that shit.
Bro, I channeled it from my own programming that I've installed from 2 years plus of doing the process.
No, you as an individual is insignificant, sorry.
Okay. Hang on. I got one more for you. Y'all ready for this? Can you handle it?
Slowly.
Give us a like, give us a share if you want more.
Let me just get off video.
We should do this live, dude. Then we can get everyone in the super chat going. Okay.
That'd be a great idea, dude.
Okay.
Dude, Mitchell, let's do that end of year.
Oh, a live stream end of the year.
Maybe we're biting off more than we can chew, but maybe. I mean, who's going to be awake at 8 a.m. CST?
On New Year's Day?
Who are up, and is it New Year's Day?
Next Monday? No, next Monday.
Next Monday is the 27th, and then okay.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah. That'd be good. Because it's after Christmas, right? No one wants, people like, kind of that weird week where it's between like Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah, you feel funky. Okay, here we go. I'm ready.
Oh, okay.
Thank you for giving me that buffer, that recovery time.
Hang on. I'm setting up.
That was
And remember,
not-
everyone, put in order. People, money, business. What is the thing, right? What do the elite think?
Good reminder.
Okay. I'm thinking of I got the punchline. I don't have the setup.
You got the setup. Okay, yeah. You know what? Sit with that. I want you to focus on that. And then
The real important
favorite part. That's the priority, really. You have to feel good now. So you got to make the people feel good now, or else they'll never create anything. As soon as they start feeling good now, all their dreams are going to come true. So focus on that. Okay.
Okay. Yep.
So now, for those of you who have your answer, what do the elite prioritize? Money or business or people or what? In what order? Okay, now I'm going to ask you a second question and see how this fucks you up. Mitchell's like shaking his head. What does the average person prioritize? Business or people or money? Not business or people. Just in what order are those three words prioritized? Money, business, people, business, money, etc., etc. Mitch.
What does the average person prioritize?
No. Don't answer that. I'm just focused on jokes with you, man. You don't have any other value, Mitch. You've achieved nothing in your life. All that's valuable coming out of your mouth is jokes.
Okay.
Could you imagine? Wait, hold on. Just imagine you had like somebody headed to become a billionaire who's like on track to become a billionaire and governor of their state. And then you told them that all their imagine I was interviewing you and all I asked you to do is talk about total bullshit. Like people come on, they're like, dude, okay, so this guy, he's living in $1 million ranch, like he's on track to being governor, he just had dinner, etc. And all I do is ask you jokes.
You're like, please say that one bit again about the World Economic Forum. That's so damn clever.
That was really good.
Okay. This will only work for a subset of people who have read this book. Okay. What is the ultimate level of the emotional guidance system as talked about in the book Ask and It Is Given? What is the ultimate level of the emotional guidance system in that book?
I don't know, Mitchell. What is the ultimate level of the emotional guidance system in the book Ask and It Is Given?
It's when you go to Abraham.
It's when you go Abraham.
When you go Abraham on something.
There's like happiness, contentment, blah blah. Then it's like
you're like bliss. Then you're like, no, I'm Abraham.
I'm going Abraham.
And then you get convinced that you're channeling Abraham, and then you're like, blah, blah, blah.
Boom. And then you can have a business just like Jerry and Esther. Did you guys know that was a business? Those of you who've read Asking It Is Given, and
dude,
those of you
they do it. They don't do it for the money, bro.
No. Because Mitch, this is perfect, dude. You see it?
I know where you're going. Oh yeah.
Tell me. I just want to show people that we have the same thoughts.
Okay.
Don't say the answer yet.
Yeah.
What is it pertaining to?
It's pertaining to this people, money, business equation.
Exactly.
And how Abraham and this Abraham idea, which is a business idea.
Elite people, they always say.
Yes. And how they're actually running things, and then how they'll say they're running things. And you're going to see they're actually running it with the structure that the elite use, but they're going to say it's the structure of the average person.
Right. Exactly. Right. Or here's the thing. Okay. We'll give more context to that after the answer. Okay. So here's, I'm going to ask one more question on that point.
If you're driving for this episode, you might need to pull over because we're going into a lot. I don't want you.
You haven't already crashed your car from laughter, then you should pull over. Okay.
If you crash your car because you're going to get pissed from the answer that we give you, oh
my God.
Well, you're going to need to use the information anyway, so you can then make more money. So then you can fix your car.
Yeah.
And get a better car.
Exactly.
But don't want a better car.
You're
need a better car.
You're dropping too many hints to the answer, but nobody can pick it up. Secrets. Okay.
Unless you've listened to Soul of Money. Shout out for anyone who's listened to Soul of Money on Equal.
Shout out Soul of Money.
Shout out to the Soul of Money.
Shout out Equal.
Episode like 51 through like 120.
That's when shit gets
That's
spicy.
an MBA in terms of like true like mastery of the universe business
Yeah.
acknowledgement.
But
That's what the
don't
MBA
just try to
stands
jump
for.
into that shit. If you
Yeah.
don't know what it is, don't even ask about it.
Yeah,
To be
dude.
honest.
Yeah.
But isn't it, dude? If you don't
Unless you
already
ask the
know it,
question, then it will be answered for everyone.
dude. Wow. For
I'm
those of
gonna
you
get
who don't know
Asif to
what,
shed a tear on this podcast.
oh my god. For those of you who
That's
don't
my
know
goal.
what equal
Hashtag shedding. Hashtag shed a tear.
shedding.
Hashtag
We're
Asif.
gonna get take
Asif's
that.
crying.
Okay. Let me ask the third question while we keep doing stupid fucking banter. This is amazing. This is the best podcast yet. Hashtag, guys, in the comment before I ask, I'm gonna ask the third question and then I'm gonna get you the hashtag in the comments. Best podcast yet. Okay. The third question is, of those three, money and people and business. Mitch, keep that idea. I want you to say it right after.
Yeah.
It's gonna be some hilarious dumb shit. I know it. Okay. Which one do you prioritize? So to the listeners, between the three words, people, money, business, what is the order that you prioritize those three words? Okay, so and then real quick, make sure you hashtag best podcast yet.
Yeah.
In the comments.
And then spam this podcast in all the Facebook groups that you're in. and
what does that mean? What does that mean? Make it like super like they don't even have to think.
Okay.
So clear.
As in, like, you click the little share button on YouTube or Spotify, wherever you're listening to this, and then I would recommend YouTube, and then you click the little share button, and then you just say something like, "This is an amazing podcast. I recommend listening to this," and then you put the link under it, and then you copy and paste the whole message. So it's like, "This is an amazing podcast. I recommend listening to it," and then you take the link and that whole thing, and then you just like go in Facebook groups that you're part of. You could go on facebook.com/groups, and then you're going to see all the groups you're already in, and pick like 5 of them, and then you right click, open new tab, and then you go in, and then you just find posts to comment on, and then you comment on people's posts. Make it relevant, right? They're like, my husband wants to divorce me. Don't post it. Actually, you could say, maybe your husband could listen to this and then post it, right? So like make it practical.
Post principle versus feelings,
Yeah, but that's how we've got a lot of people into self-perfected. Some of the people that are going all the way, like shout out Chantel and Owen.
Exactly.
Right? Chantel found us through that.
Let me tell that story. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait. Hang it. Right before you tell that story, because it's a great story. You should definitely tell a story. Everyone needs to know that story. And the 3 questions were: 1, how do the elite think about business? And then what was the second one though?
It was, so basically between the 3 words, business people, money, business people, whatever. How, in what order do the elite prioritize it? What order do the elite prioritize it? Second is, what order does the average person prioritize?
Okay, the average person.
And then you prioritize.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. Okay. Now, cue the Chantel and Owen story.
Chantal and Owen's story. Let's do Chantal's story. This is very Chantal's story, specifically in regards to what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Shout out Chantal. You're a beast. You're amazing. Keep it up. Was it? Do you know if it was you who posted the link in a comment?
Oh, bro, I spam that link a lot. Okay. I used to. Now I've done other stuff.
I want you to put yourself in the shoes of the hero, which is Mitchell, in this scenario.
We're all about heroes here. There should be one hero, a lot of villains, and a lot of bystanders. That's what.
Mostly bystanders.
Yeah, I just model my life after Hollywood because I want to be famous, bro. Remember my stand-up jokes, dude? What if I did stand-up in a Academy Award winning
Captain America? Which one?
Any Academy Award winning movie, bro. I could be like the actor that you always wanted to be. I think I could actually do it.
Fuck, man. Does that mean I have to be the governor that you always wanted to be?
Dude, you do live in Florida. I don't know. DeSantis, I actually don't. I think DeSantis will win again. Dude, he's awesome. I'm listening to more of his stuff. I really like his style.
He's a gangster.
Yeah.
And there was like was it the Texas or the Florida general surgeon? Did you see that one? Where he's the black dude who was like,
oh yeah, the Florida, yeah.
Was in Florida, right?
Yeah.
He was like, see, we're not about using fear to make our decisions. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
shit.
And I'm going to say something that's probably going to get this podcast down in the algorithm, but I'll just say the words.
But that's why you have to do hashtag best podcast yet. So before Mitchell says that, we need 3 more. We need to get to 3 in total.
Oh, 2 more. 2 more. Thank you, Vianney.
Oh,
To Vianney. Okay, 1 more. 1 more.
Thank you, Cameron.
Celine. Is that you, Celine? Yeah, Celine. Okay.
Awesome.
Shout out to the Cash Queen.
Hashtag best podcast yet.
Okay. This is the word that's going to downrank us in the algorithm, most likely. Natural immunity. He was saying we should really look into natural immunity for this thing that's going on. So,
hey, Katie pointed out this really good point. She was like, notice that with each variant, they're using like the key characteristics of this variant is specific vocabulary. So they're seeing which words are people going to react more. Like, so for example, they're not focused on deaths with Omicron. Is it Omicron?
Bro,
I have not been paying attention.
Omicron.
Okay. So they have not been focusing on death. Exactly. Omni TV. Exactly. Omni is like.
Omni means like everything.
Exactly.
That sounds extra scary. There's the final till later when everyone's like, yo, Omicron ain't that bad. And they're like, no.
Exactly. Oh, now we got Omicron. Anybody know what Omni means? Everything. It's coming for your children.
The virus is
coming for your dog.
Is the virus.
This is Anthony Fauci.
Until you equalize yourself with the virus. Hashtag team life. Continue. Continue with the Chantel story. I also remember that thing I was going to say before we go back to that other thing.
Thank you.
Yo, we could be like on, you ever watch Sports Center? Do they have that in Canada?
Yes.
It'd be even on the news too, right? We're at the bottom. They're like talking about like what their topics are they're going to talk about. Imagine trying to do that for us. There's no way you could even.
Whoever would be doing that in real time would be traumatized. We'd have to, our employee turnover rate for that would be like every week, every 3 days. People's fingers falling off and shit.
Yeah, hold on. They'd have to be great at spelling.
Yeah, exactly. They'd have to use a lot of TT.
Ding, ding.
They with Omicron. Not keeping up. I'm in my own world. I'm out here creating heaven on earth, right? With Omicron, they're saying it's not about the deaths. It's about it's highly contagious and infectious. So they're not so they're seeing which one is spiking people's fear.
Bro, that's just like when you're doing like Facebook advertising or any sort of internet marketing. Exactly. It's like, okay, they're liking this one. Quick, boost that one.
Exactly. Or this one's creating more fear, right? You know, if I go out on an average day, more people are wearing masks now. Cameron's like, I always know when they've been pushing a lot more of the fear points or a new variant has released, because he was saying, I'll go out and more people will just be wearing masks. Like, people are actually listening to that and making their decisions based on that. So
dude, and thinking that the mask does anything. Isn't that so funny?
Amazing, right? Before the Chantal story, what was the thing that you remember that you wanted to do?
Oh, okay. This is
because that one was important.
This is good, right? And near the end of the year and every day of your life, it's good to self-reflect. So my suggestion would be, I would look back at what are some of the best, most transformational episodes of this podcast that you've heard. I have a 3. There's 4.
Library.
4 in particular that I'm going to say I definitely suggest listening to if you haven't. One, I think it's episode 48. It's called Computer Love. Bro, that one we deep dive into like where everything is headed with technology and the crypto mining, the humans and all that. And it's like epic.
Nice. But it's the Bill Gates patent one?
Yeah. And like Cameron's reading from that book. I'm like, hey, I think I got that book. Yeah. No, it's coming in the mail. But we're just talking about like where AI is headed, like, and it's already here. Like, they already have this stuff, right? They have Neuralink. It's like chips in people. So that one's really good. So Computer Love. There's one called The Only Way. I don't remember what episode that is, but that one just explains. Ooh. And if you get triggered when people are certain, you should definitely listen to that. And then you should use
real quick on that point. There's somebody who's using TechnoTutor. They're pretty new to the process. They recently started listening to the podcast. I love it when people say, yeah, I just started listening to the podcast. I'm like, oh, here we go. You know, what questions do you have?
They like ghost you.
You hate me now. Yeah. And they said it perfectly. They said, you guys are very provocative. Like, a lot of things you guys say were very, very challenging. But when I put my feelings aside, I was able to hear what you guys had said. And after I pushed through my reactions, listen to this. After I pushed through my reactions, I had next level cognitions. Shout out Vicky. I think you're listening to it in order, so you're not going to hear this until you're already transcended goddess levels. But shout out Vicky.
Hey, awesome. I've seen Vicky on some calls. That's great. Nice. I saw she just joined the group too.
Yeah, cool.
If you're not in the Facebook group, you definitely got to get in that Facebook group. And you should definitely be posting and commenting on everyone's thing, because straight up, dude, who else is having this kind of conversation?
Listening to Asif and Mitchell talk about utter bullshit with a little bit of fucking gold. Dude, we modeled our podcast after the concept of looking for the gold. We actually did it in reverse. We're actually giving you a bunch of gold, i.e. Mitchell's comedic gold.
And then your ego will look for the shit, right? Your ego will look for the dirt. And so you get to really see, am I life? Am I the real me, who I really am, that's here to do what's best? Or am I the ego, right? Is it the I of self, true self, or is it the I of ego?
Right. Is it by what you see? I am that I am, or is it I think, therefore I am?
Hey.
Which one?
And which one? Well, I would suggest doing DIP light before even trying to pretend like we know what thinking is. Well, I've obviously already done it, but shout out DIP light.
Look up the word isness. That's a good one.
Business? Isness. Ooh, yeah, I love that word.
I-S.
Or amness.
A-M-N-E-S-S.
Yeah.
Okay. What was the thing that you were going to share?
Okay, I was going to say the other two episodes before then we get back to the Chantel story, before we get back to the other thing.
Exactly.
Words. Okay. The other ones is then the two on the metaverse that we just did. One is called Metafucked. And shout out to all the people who got challenged on that one too. They're like, I was talking to some guy this past week, right? And he's like, oh man, he's like, I was listening to it, and like Cameron was like talking smack about cryptocurrency. He's like, doesn't he understand like cryptos, like how we decentralize the finance, whatever. But it was cool because he was like challenged by it, but he like brought it up to me. We're having conversation, and he also got his family techno tutor, which is amazing. They homeschool their 3 kids, super cool. But yeah, it's fun, right? Because that's why we're provocative. And like, we know crypto is innovative. Like we know there's a lot of potential solutions with it. And as we're looking at bigger concepts, like how do we reform the economic system down the road, that's great. The point that I want to make obvious to everybody, in case it's not obvious, is even if you have crypto or you're focused on crypto, that's not going to change the root issue, which is a lack of education. Right? Because I know plenty of people who make good money in crypto and they have a horrible relationship with their partner, right? They're still watching porn, right? They're, drinking, smoking, all sorts of stuff, like still avoiding aspects of their life. And then they just use crypto as a shiny object. Whereas the real thing we need is a real education. And then, hey, when you're truly educated and you're building a business, right? You have a sense of purpose, you're building community, you're tuning into what we're doing, right? You're sharing that. If you want to use TechnoTutor specifically to understand crypto better and everything, cool, like do that. But let's not pretend like crypto is the ultimate solution. The real solution is we got to get everyone a real, true life effective education. Like, right,
because here's the reality of that is if you remove all the limitations of the banking system on the poor, on the rich, you're everybody is growing at the same rate. So any inequality that currently exists is maintained. I'll say it again. Crypto does not solve the inequality. Okay. For the people who made a lot of money in crypto or are set up to make a lot of money in crypto because they know where it's going, those are generally the people who are fighting for it. But what you don't realize is you just have to look at this for yourself. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying because what we're looking at is how to create equality. You're not going to be happy until there's equality.
In equality, we don't mean bring everyone down to this low, mediocre level. We mean equality as we are all equally at our fullest potential. Yes. That means you don't have to like work some job you hate. Like you actually enjoy every day, right? You have really awesome relationships with everyone around you. That's what we mean by equality, is truly the best for everyone.
Right, because the Copes don't have to work a job, they left Sunday, or was it? They got here Sunday, so they traveled over the weekend. They're just going to spend all week here, next week here, right? We're going to do a little bit of work. We're going to do a little bit of play. We're going to do a lot of bit of play. We're doing this podcast. Like, is this considered work? Is this considered work? I mean,
Put in the comments what you think. I need the crowd to decide for me because I can't make decisions for myself.
Yes, exactly. I'm dependent on what the audience says. So let me know.
Yeah. Hey, we're just like those people marketing the COVID for the fear. Okay. Do you like this? Okay. We'll give you more of that. You like this? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then whichever comments gets the most likes, that's the thing we're going to keep telling people to comment.
Yeah. And you can't even down like stuff anymore. So our old episodes are like irrelevant when we're like, hey,
Right.
dislike this if you don't like this.
Yeah.
We should probably just take a minute.
Yeah. And I think on YouTube, it's like you can hide the number of likes now or something. I don't know if you saw that.
They probably did it because Biden, like people really like, I've seen some of this stuff on Biden and on what is it? Like there was some Fauci thing too, where it was like noticeably no one was really liking it. And a lot of people were disliking it. Like it was disproportionate.
Oh, that makes so much sense. Dude, if you look at it right now, you can see the number of likes. You cannot see the number of dislikes. Just go look at it right now. You can see the number of likes. You can't see the number of dislikes. Oh, something else. I went to go post something to Facebook, right? And I posted. And it said, hey, do you want to review your account activity to make sure that you actually want everything that's up there to be up there? I'm like, whoa.
Interesting.
You know, if I ever did like, what is it, blackface, like I dressed up as Aladdin and paint my face black or something, I'd maybe want to like delete it or whatever. You know, like all that stuff. So that was really interesting. Of like, hey, do you want to make sure that you're politically correct before you go on with your day?
Interesting. Before we go on with our agenda, where there's going to be serious repercussions.
Right, exactly. This is your last warning.
Yeah. One other caveat on that. Yeah, I love it. You just go in and out. It's like a fractal.
Yeah, it's like in and out.
I am a fractal. I am infinite. My affirmations are working, bro.
I am. Period.
I saw this really interesting Facebook feature.
Shout out to Mitchell's affirmations. If for those of you who want Mitchell's secret affirmations, the secret to his success, which is his affirmations, and not any kind of unconscious reprogramming tool or application or self-investigation tools at all. If you want Mitchell's secret affirmations, just crypto him 20 pounds.
20 pounds of crypto.
And I'm about to read off the crypto address right now. Okay, ready? E5G capital F 99. No, I'm kidding. All right. Go ahead. Tell me.
Oh, there's this interesting feature that was in the self-perfected Facebook group. And it said, it was like some new feature. I forgot what they called it, but they said, do you want to be?
It's like the conflict one, right?
Yeah. And it was like, do you want to be notified when we sense a conflict is happening in the group? Basically, so that you can keep it like a safe space.
Yeah.
I was like, very interesting. Because
like, so imagine like people are getting heated in the comment section. It's like it would send a notification to our phones or to our Facebook.
Right.
Like, hey, we're arguing here. Like, do you want to do something?
Yeah. We have an outbreak of arguments. You should do a comment lockdown.
A comment lockdown. Yeah. Dude, I don't know. I don't know if I'll be able to find one right now, but I went to get a haircut on like Saturday or something, right? And in the area that I was in, like I was just looking at like Google Maps, right? I'm showing on a video, just Google Maps. And in it said, it was like a symbol and it was like pulsing and it said busy area. And I was talking to Maylat how that's going to be the starting point of like the climate lockdowns and all that stuff. It's going to be like, CO2 dense area where you can't come here because there's too much CO2 being released here. It's, you just see it
Wow.
happening. I mean,
Wow.
that combined with Facebook saying the climate science tag on your
Oh yeah.
post is so.
And isn't it so funny? There was just a court case where they showed, and the transcript was released, where they said these fact checkers, basically it's just people's opinions, and
Wow.
nobody knows, right?
Wow.
Might be the first time you heard of that. So it doesn't even like we're entering almost this post-truth world. That's why, right? Because you can't trust the world and trust society. You have to at least be able to trust yourself, and you have to be able to trust yourself to follow to abide by the principles, specifically the principles in this group. I got to close this window. It's lighting weird.
Okay, gotcha. Consider that what Mitchell said earlier about the guy who got challenged by the crypto points in the meta fucked podcast. Hey, it's good to get challenged. The only way that you know that you're changing or challenging your programming so that you can start getting results outside of what you're currently getting is by getting challenged and emotionally reacting and then taking responsibility for it. How do you take responsibility for it? Go to the tools, right? Go to your techno tutor, do your writing, but talk to us. Like, obviously on the podcast, we're presenting information in a particular way, but one-on-one, like, I'll walk you through the things that I understand. Mitchell will walk you through the things that he understands, because we know that we didn't come out of the womb understanding this stuff. We didn't understand this stuff 4 years ago, 3 years ago. Like, I'm just saying, before we started this process. So we have the patience, we have the time, and we have the wherewithal to walk you through whatever you need to walk through in order to actually understand the things that we understand, because that's what somebody did for us.
Yeah.
And that's what we're here to create.
Yeah, it's been amazing, right? And that's where that concept of teachability really comes in. Because it's like, I remember many times, like when I first met Asif, he's just like, I'm like telling him, I'm like, bro, like source energy, bro. It's all energy. He's like, where's the energy come from? I'm like, it just is, man. It just is. What I read. I've read a lot of books on it. And you're like,
all right, let's spell break that right now. What the point was, energy comes from the physical, right? I know there's a statement of, if you like everything, it's 95% empty space. Like if you blew up the nucleus of an atom to the size of a golf ball. So imagine scaling up a atom, right? An atom where the nucleus becomes the size of a golf ball. So I don't know how much of a scale that is, but by the time the nucleus becomes the size of a golf ball, the nearest particle to it, right, the electron circling it, it would be a mile away. So imagine all the empty space. So, in reality, we're just empty space. No, that is not the case. For magnets to be able to attract to one another, there has to be a physical component. It is the physical component in the arrangement of its physical structure, which is called resonance, that creates the attraction. So when you're changing your resonance with technotutoring, that determines what you attract into your life. People always come up to me and they're like, I met these guys at this event, and I told them, I was telling them about technotutoring. I was like, I put it into my technotutor. I meet the young teachable go-getters. And I met you guys for 3 days. I don't meet anybody. Seriously. Particular. And then the last day, I meet these guys, and they're the most teachable guys, among the most teachable guys I've ever met in my life. Right. And then I told them, I said, the last guy who was that teachable, I was talking about you. So the last guy was that teachable. When I saw him at his house in October, he said, I got my 10-year vision in 2 years. Isn't that awesome? Right. Yeah. I love that. It was so funny, man. You're just walking around your house. You're just kind of saying like, welcome. You're like, yeah. I'm like, dude, like, congratulations. You're like, yeah, I got my 10-year vision in 2 years. I'm like, wait, what did you just say? Because you take it for granted, right? It's just natural to you at this point. But dude, how many people would want to get their 10-year vision in 2 years, right?
I mean, how many people even have a 10-year vision?
Right, exactly, right. That's
like, well,
more apt point.
I don't know.
Yeah. Right, exactly. Short-term thinking.
Yeah. My 10-year vision includes having the United States as all other nations as the very best version of itself, so that we can ensure that places like China I do not succeed with their agenda. I've been researching a lot lately. That's
And how's that happen? What is Mitchell doing? If you look at what he's doing, he started with himself, and then he got a partner relationship, and they're supporting each other, and now they're going to build a family. And then what he also knows is that if he does that for his family and supports other families to do it, then that becomes their community. And if there's enough communities that are doing it, that's how you get into politics. So you support the state. You support enough states that supports the country. And because this country, the US specifically, is in the top 1%, period, you support the US to change, to walk its journey of life.
Isn't that cool?
The world.
Because then back to your point about resonance, right? Because I can see the connection with it. It's like you talk about then the structure, right? And then that creates what you attract because the resonance. Isn't that literally what we're doing? Right. And I'm like a nucleus. And then my friend over there is the electron, or sometimes he's the nucleus and I'm the electron, or we're all nucleuses. Right. And it's like we're, forming this so that it's a solid structure that's actually best for everyone. Right. Where we don't have to live in this messed up state that they have in China.
Right. So the going back to the original point, just like the original point, not the original point.
Yeah. Just the original
point. Is the physical comes first. Make sure you're moving yourself in reality before your mind. I know everybody says mind over matter, but that is 100% in reverse, because matter is what matters. Like, that's why it's called matter. That's why the word, oh, it really matters, it means it's important. Matter itself, like the word that when you say something matters, you're saying it's important.
Yeah.
Because matter equals important. So
yeah. Or if something is fleeting, right? Like energy is fleeting, right? It dissipates. You're like, oh, it's just like a fleeting thing. It's like it's just temporary. It's like, that's energy.
Right. Exactly.
It's like right there. But that's when people don't have the vocabulary integrated, they can't see it, right? Because your vocabulary is also your way of seeing reality.
So what's the practicality to exercising matter over mind? It's when you're thinking, just move yourself, go do something. If you're like, oh, should I make that phone call, blah, 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 just pick up your phone, start dialing, even though you're shitting your pants or whatever you're apprehensive about. And so the reason I'm bringing that up is because it's really interesting. Two things. When somebody says, oh, this is just semantics. I remember hearing that like years ago, right? And I've heard it many, many times. Oh, we're getting into semantics. Semantics is literally the meaning of things. Are you trying to tell me that that's not important?
That person probably has new meaning in their life.
That is the fact, because it's no, Mitchell, that's actually spot on. As much as hilarious as that was, that's why people don't like talking about the meaning of things. I was talking to somebody that said, this is getting too philosophical. What do you mean too philosophical? Because you believe everything is energy first and physical second, you're trying to get yourself to a point in your mind before you do it in reality. It's not how it works. It's in reverse. The best analogy I can give, the most simplest analogy that I can give, that you don't have to believe anything I'm saying, you just look at it for yourself, is if you look at a light bulb and the light that it produces, which one can exist without the other? Obviously, a light bulb not existing and a light existing, the light emitted from that light bulb coming before the light bulb doesn't make any sense. But when you turn the light off, or the energy, what still remains? The light bulb still remains. So my point is, if you understand that, then you'll understand the practicality to what happens. Anyways, I won't go too much into what happens when you die and blah, blah, blah. But anyways, the point to communicate there, just to hit on that real quick in this podcast, is source. Where did you come from? Well, you came from your mom's belly, and before that you came from your mom's ovum and your dad's spermatozoa. And where did those come from? Well, their bodies produced it from the nutrients in their body and the anabolic processes that are happening in their body, which is coming from the food they eat. And the food they eat is coming from the earth, which is the physical. Yeah. So that is your source. That is your source. And you're going to return to source, not as energy. you really hope that you haven't identified yourself as energy, because that's the one thing that doesn't exist after. Like right now, take a battery. Okay, you have I'll just say energy in the battery. If you destroyed that battery and smash it up into smithereens, where it just got broken down to the finest particles that was no longer could be defined as a battery, the use of a battery, the energy of a battery is no longer valid. So don't think that who you are is your personality. Don't think that who you are is who you are as energy, as how you feel, as blah, blah, blah. Because if that's how you've defined yourself, that's the thing that's going to disappear. Scary shit if you're processing that.
Yeah. So don't disappear, right? Stay relevant. And
if you get
now,
out the thing that, oh yeah, you did.
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing. Okay. So I was talking about the episodes, the four best ones that I personally like the most. So that was meta fucked, that one, right? Which was challenging. And then the last one, right? The fourth is life in the metaverse. That one's great, right? Especially because Cameron's accent, this is like the metaverse. And for real, like this shit is going to creep up on people just like AI is, just like automation, just like millions and millions of people going to go without work because they don't have the skills and the education yet. That's why we have TechnoTutor. That's why we'll be multi-billionaires, because we have the solution to re-educate people. Yet in the meantime, was it?
We're not afraid to walk out our front door.
Yeah, exactly. We're not afraid to go meet people. And the metaverse, or like we call it, the metaverse, is a trap, and it's a super trap, right? Because it's like so seductive. And, it's not to say don't ever go into the metaverse, but it's saying, remember, who are you really? Are you identifying with the metaverse, or are you identifying with the real universe that's here? I suggest you identify with the real one that's here first. And then if you want to go in the metaverse, make stuff happen, cool, right? For a while, but let's sort out this reality, or let's not get distracted. Because last I checked, every single day, there's still 20,000 kids dying from preventable causes. 20,000. You ever been around 20,000 people? Imagine that. All of them innocent kids, all of them dying. Freaking sad, but you just don't see it every day. Or do you avoid it? Right? So let's look at that and let's sort that out. It's not that hard to figure that out. We have enough people, enough brain power, enough money, resources. We can teach them how to fish, how to garden, right? Give them basic education. And then we can stop that. We can prevent that, right? Or like child trafficking, stuff like that. Let's sort that out first, and then let's go fuck around in the metaverse.
Right, exactly.
Right? Or do you want just the easy way out?
That's equality, right? It's like if you're not willing to afford somebody else access to what you have, you're kind of fucking evil. You're definitely fucking evil.
Yeah. Right. But it's like this deep-seated program where it's like, it's like, oh, God's gonna figure it out. Hey, Keanu.
Have you seen the video that Cameron shared with us in the group chat?
No, not yet.
Okay. You don't need any volume, just watch this.
Okay. Well, if you're not watching it, I'm looking at I can't tell what this is. It looks like is this video game graphics? No, this is from the Matrix.
The movie The Matrix, right?
That looked like a video game. Oh yeah, I remember this part of the Matrix. It looks like a video game. Yeah, it's a video game.
Yes, you see it in the bottom right now, right? PS5,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So the point is, they've gotten the engine to see, it's totally a fucking video game, right?
Yeah.
Right. And it's like that all of that, it's a video game.
Wow.
The point here is they're making graphics so fucking good that soon it's going to be, and it wasn't like you know how sometimes in video games they'll make the cutscene like have better graphics because it doesn't have to render as much, right? And so it's like, see, if I show this part, it's obvious, but
right.
The point is like
graphics, it's still like pretty ridiculous.
Exactly. They're going to become indistinguishable. And that's on current, like on the PS5 that's already released. That's what can run on.
Right.
Imagine in 4 years from now.
Right. Right. Like you look at a video game from 5 years ago, and it's like, okay, that's obvious. Right.
Exactly, right? My point is, it's going to be so appealing to go off into Fantasyland because it's going to feel so fucking real.
Right? And in reality, we're still dealing with consequence from the past thousands of years. So it's harder to be here in reality. Theoretically, it's harder. I mean, it's harder because it's actual real, right? It has a hardness to it.
Yeah.
And it's like we're so programmed to just be brainwashed zombies that just want dopamine, and we don't care about anyone except ourselves. That's why it's like, oh, the metaverse is so appealing. But you know,
so for those of you who may have forgotten the handle of cloning, and don't worry, we didn't forget about Chantal. We're going to tell you about,
and we didn't forget about the business thing.
Exactly, the 3 words. But you know how these podcasts go? Don't act like you haven't been listening all this time.
Yeah, come on, man.
Put it. Oh my God. Hey, if you want to know Mitchell's morning routine and nighttime routine that has made him more money than you could ever know, go to onlyfans.com/the Snide King.
SNYDE.
Say it again.
SNYDE.
Exactly. KING. The Snide King. And then are you checking up to see if snide means anything or something?
Well, I know snide is a word. Obviously not that spelling, but
I don't know. I was thinking of that spelling.
Interesting. But, so that's what snide actually means. Okay, what would you think snide means?
Like kind of like I have the idea, like I could use it, but I can't, I don't, it's not integrated. But I would guess that it's kind of like a sassy remark, like a smart kind of.
Yeah, that's what I would have thought. I mean, I just looked in one definition here. Plot twist. I actually earlier I was just looking up the definition of the word lockdown because we were talking about lockdowns earlier. And for now, right? Let this be on record. I searched just the word lockdown, right? Define lockdown.
Yes.
And right now, this is still the first one. I think it will change because they're rewriting these things. Lockdown. The confining of prisoners to their cells, typically after an escape or to regain control during a riot. Lockdown. Boom. But already popping up next, a state of isolation or restricted access instituted as a security measure, right? Stay secure, baby. Or lockdown, Wikipedia. A lockdown is a restriction policy for people or community to stay where they are, usually due to specific risks to themselves or to others if they can move and interact freely. The term stay at home or shelter in place is often used for lockdowns that affect an area rather than specific locations. So, and I'm just saying right now that's what it is because it will probably change. They changed the definition of anti-vaxxer from one who is anti-vaxxer, which like you'd think it would be, to now anyone who even opposes mandates.
Right.
So like they're literally writing. It's like 1984, if you've read that.
So this is a vocabulary point. If you don't see the difference between somebody who opposes a mandate and somebody who is against vaccines, very different.
Yeah.
Extremely different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And
so let's just follow through here. Onlyfans.com/the Snide King.
Yeah. Snide, SNYDE, because snide, SNIDE, here's the definition.
Oh, nice.
Bro. Derogatory or mocking in an indirect way. That's one definition. Or an unpleasant or underhanded person or remark, or expressive of contempt. Interesting.
So instead of calling this podcast Snide Remarks, SNIDE, we're going to call it SNYDE. Not
remarks. Yeah, Snide Remarks, right? Because that has my whole last name in it. And I care about myself so much that I need my name to be out there.
Dude, if
I don't want
name
to be out there,
he's going to have a fucking nervous breakdown.
Yeah, dude.
Anybody close to Mitchell ever see his nervous breakdowns? Yeah, exactly. Of course you didn't. Guy never has fucking nervous breakdowns. Jesus pussies.
Dude, so derogatory or mocking in an indirect way. I suppose I'm snide of the ego and of the current world system. Like if someone is operating from ego, I will be snide. and I will, in a underhanded or unpleasant way, I will leave a remark because it's fucking evil. Like I will be snide towards people who are evil.
You're pretty explicit about it too.
Yeah, true. So anyway, those are the 4 episodes that I personally find are great. Right, computer love, the only way, something like the only way.
I'm pretty sure it's the only way.
Metafucked, and then life in the metaverse. That super foundation of reality. I mean, all the podcasts are awesome, and those are my personal favorite. Do you have any personal favorite that I didn't reference before we get to Chantal?
Well, there's some really foundational pieces. I just want to contrast or get more context.
Oh, you went out of sound. I was just thinking this. No, you're out, bro. We need to get Hey, you just came back on. That really worked, just hitting it.
Yeah, dude, I gotta get a new microphone, but the microphone closes me because then it starts working for a long time. I'm like, I don't need a new microphone, and there's just like enough to do in the day where I'm not focused on getting a new microphone. One day you'll see me.
That's a hilarious way to use it.
What I was saying real quick. Actually, what was your comment?
I was just saying, people going through this podcast is like a mental gymnastic jungle gym, right? Yeah, but now people are able to see their processing ability.
I wouldn't even say it's a jungle gym. It's more like a war zone.
Dude, it's like a metaverse. I'm just kidding because it's actually real, but it is kind of like a war zone, right? With the ego, and we're like sniping the ego, and then I'm like,
some people get
taking my matrix, just like that Matrix clip, bro. I'm like,
the internet cut out, at least on my side. But you're shooting. What was it?
I said shooting.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. Right. The Agent Smiths are coming out. You gotta. Dude, I'm looking at your face right now. You look like the Unreal Engine 5 that we just looked at, man. I can't tell if you're a video game character or real. Am I in the metaverse right now? Dude, when it's going to become
you think of the psychotic breaks people are going to have. I mean, people are already inclining to be more crazy. Like I know a guy who's really high up in the U.S. Postal Service, and he is like one of the top guys. And he was just sharing some
executive mailman.
What was that?
He's an executive mailman.
Instead of wearing a blue uniform, he's like all black. He looks kind of like Agent Smith. I'm just kidding. Cool guy. I met him at a dinner party. And he was saying how it's like a crime and like aggravated assault towards postal workers is like steadily rising, which is a pretty good indicator that like people are losing their shit. Because why would you fucking assault a male person? Like, come on.
So true,
right?
man.
Which is like you feel bad for the guy, like, dang, and I'm not sharing this with the intention of like wanting. Well, I'm not sharing this with the intention of creating more of this, right? Let's but obviously that's consequence.
It's a symptom of where we're headed.
Yeah. Yes, and so if you want to fucking stop these symptoms before it starts knocking on your door, it might already have. Like if you live in cities, like shit is getting out of control.
People have been telling me about how they've been on Zoom calls all this time and they go out to meet people in person, and it's like a lot. They kind of lost that social skill. It's like, oh fuck, I have to be way more self-aware than I have been over camera. Imagine now, take that into, you're not even talking to somebody's camera. It's not looking at your facial expressions. You could be upside down in your fucking head eating fucking chicken wings and still look like one in the metaverse, right?
Yeah, true.
Very
and I noticed, I just said right there, like things in cities are getting out of control. I want to be nuanced with what I mean by that. Because a lot, like, one way of looking at it is like, oh, it's out of control, therefore we must regain control through like this weird egoic, like authoritarian way, which I'm not advocating for that at all. What I'm saying by control is you as who you really are as life, as the physical, is in control and directing who you are and what you do, right? So it's like in every moment you can like breathe and go, okay, it's like you're in control. Or you might feel out of control, but you're like, no, I'm going to control my breath. I'm going to control how I participate, and I'm going to do my best to bring people together, educate people, empower people. Because is the solution to the cities right now, or just everywhere where people are, slowly going more crazy, is it just lock them down? Because that's right now what we're seeing. It's like this dance of like, okay, lockdown, no lockdown, not lockdown, no lockdown. It's like, no, let's give everyone an effective education and build clubhouses and raise our kids so they have common sense and then let's bring them together, right? That's what we see for the future. Just so it's blatant.
That call that we were on Sunday, like somebody had a cognition when I was sharing, when people are uneducated, you have to control them.
Mhm.
That's why people feel the need to control their children. It's because the child doesn't know what to do. So rather than educate them, which is the long way, but within yourself, it should be the only way. You should give yourself no option, right? Because that's what creates the long-term consequences that you actually want to create in the world. Versus the short way, the fast way, the easy way up front, but the delayed gratification is totally fucked. It's actually delayed, detriment, delayed consequences, delayed punishment, basically, for this world, for this entire world, because of the child you created, is controlling them.
Controlling them and putting them in front of an iPad or a TV to distract them.
Day and all that. Exactly. Is there content? Is it acceptable if you're curating the content very specifically and it's a small part of their day? Absolutely. Why not?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
This is the world we live in.
I don't think you can totally knock it out too. Plus, think of the genetic programming in the kid. Like, you probably watched a lot of TV as a kid. I know I did. So to think that my child is not gonna have some desire to watch TV, because that's also gonna create a consequence too. Because if the child is, not exposed to TV at all, and then later
I don't want them touching iPads or smartphones or nothing.
Right. Because they're gonna find the iPad someday, right? And then they're gonna resent you, and then they're not gonna trust you. I love it. Wait, hang on. Asif, you're not a parent yet. You cannot give parenting advice. Same with myself.
Dude,
shame on me.
Man, my bad.
I can't speak common sense.
I was thinking that people would just understand based off the common sense of what I'm saying, but you're right.
Oh, wait, they don't have common sense and they just react because it reminds them of any time that their authority has been challenged or when they've challenged authority.
God. Right. So they're using it as a way to justify just not listening, period, rather than exercising the principle of investigate all things and keep what is good.
Bro, that takes way too much mental power.
Wow.
Let me just stay home and stay safe.
Just turn off the podcast. Hey, if you guys want to find out the secrets as to how Mitchell keeps up his mental power all day, the diet that Jessica has him on, just put, because it doesn't have anything to do with tools or actual self-responsibility. It's just the diet. You just have to get.
No. It's actually it's just essential oils.
If you want to know the unique proprietary blend of essential oils that Mitchell
and uses, cryptocurrency,
you use that for your processing power.
Oil coin.
If you want to know the specific coin that Mitchell invests in, you just said it. If you want to know the essential blend of oils,
bro, and it has like real function, right? It has like real utility. That's what they call it. Proof of stake. Oil coin, bro. It's
white paper for that is nasty.
It's like every time you put the oil on your skin, it drops nanoparticles into your body. So then it allows your body and smelling the oil coin or the real oil to then mine more oil coin.
Look, if you want direct access to that oil blend that keeps Mitchell's processing ability so high, just put your credit card information directly into the comment section below.
No, not in the comments. DM it to me on Facebook.
But no, put it in the comments. We should have discussed this before okay. Put it in the comment section and DM Mitchell the 3-digit code on the back.
Yeah.
So put your credit card info if you're teachable.
Watch this episode actually get taken down. That'd be unfortunate.
This episode is going to be on front page news. Is that even anymore? Front page news. It's going to be on the recommended section for everybody. It's going to be Ryan Long, Bill Burr, Asif and Mitch.
No, COVID news updates from the COVID experts.
Yeah, Dr. Fauci.
Why children should definitely go get the vaccine because it's definitely safe long term for sure, no question about it. Because we've already been studying it for 20 years, so we know 20 years if there's going to be a consequence.
Sure. Dude,
so Drake so right next to them, that's going to be us.
Drake was over at my house yesterday. He's helped me put something together, and he was like, "Oh, sweet, like, oh, that's cool. Like this artist, they don't need a vaccine to go to their concert." And then a moment later, he's like, "Dude, what the fuck am I saying? This is crazy." Like now I'm like, yes, they don't need the vaccine to go to the concert. I'm like, yeah, soon it's going to be like, oh, look, these people like, oh, this group, they don't need you to have your lobotomy proof in order to walk into their store. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Things oh, let me handle this one real quick. For anybody who thinks you're waiting for technology to get to a certain point so you can clone yourself into that, right? I know we handled this before, but it's worth saying again. It's good, right? Because for somebody who hasn't gotten the perspective or education necessary, this might not make sense, but you have one being. That's who you are. You're not consciousness. You can move your consciousness into a robot that's so lifelike that people will be like, whoa, that's like Asif, and he's learning like Asif, and he's speaking
The
like
Asif bot
the Asif bot, Sif bot.
with
right?
with SIF coins.
Sif,
We're
Sif
doing our
bot,
ICO next week. If you want a
Exactly.
SIF coin, put your credit card information and just specify that it's for the SIF coin specifically.
Exactly, because we have to be able to distinguish between Mitch's proprietary oil blend and Sif coin. And then for Mitch bot, that's not released anytime soon.
Yeah. That's for private investors only.
Exactly. You have to be accredited to $1 million net worth. So don't even you can still put your credit card information in the chat though.
We'll just keep it on file.
Exactly. For when you're ready.
Yeah. That's a good point though, right? Like there's going to be a big push toward that too. And that might be 5, 8 years out. But Ray Kurzweil, the head of engineering, I don't know if he's still head of engineering at Google, but he was for a while.
What? I forgot what we were talking about.
Putting your consciousness into a robot.
Oh, yeah.
Right. But it's not actually you.
Yeah. Right.
Dude, exactly. Imagine the consequence of that, bro. They should have a movie about that or something.
Dude, I want to like hit this one home because you have to remember, like, like the people listening, they don't have all the context that we have. Yeah. But you're like, oh, dude, that's so silly. When I first heard that, I was like, oh, that makes so much sense. I didn't think about it like that, right? Mm-hmm. So like the first point is consider, like, you're looking through your eyes right now, right? Whatever you're doing, you're looking through the windows of your eyes. There is something that you're looking through. There's you, and you're looking through your eyes. You can see your nose a little bit, right? If you wear glasses, you can see your glass a little bit, and you're looking through the windows of your eyes, and you're getting information. Within what is experiencing the incoming of that information through your eyes is your being. It's who you are. My point is, your consciousness is like all the things about you, your personality, the way you speak, the way you talk, everything, right? The whole
knowledge,
behaviors, and exactly, and mental attitude and emotions, all that stuff. You can put that into something else because that's just a bunch of algorithms that are running through you. We've talked about this before.
It's programs.
Okay, it's programs. It's a script that runs in reaction to an external stimulus, right? You can replicate all that into something else, but I want you to imagine putting your consciousness into something else. You don't all of a sudden start seeing out of two sets of eyes, right? If that robot goes and takes a piss in the bathroom while you go for a run, you don't experience yourself in both of those, encasings, those bodies, right? You're still you. So what that's going towards,
people are like, dang it, I wanted to be a robot.
Right, exactly, right? There's going to be a lot of things that you can do to support your body to be healthier, which is a good thing, right? And to last longer, but you have to take responsibility in that, right? I'll handle another objection of being able to just like instant download everything, blah, blah. I'll talk about that in a minute. But the point here is to consider this. Where that is going is to close it. They already have Netflix series on it of people, putting their consciousness into robots. Is to get everybody. If I was the elite, if you've listened to your wishes, your command, what's the one thing that elite don't want?
To lose control.
Exactly, through competition, right? Mm-hmm. They don't want competition because it will result in them losing control. So what they do is they give you some, but they don't give you all of the truth, for example, so that you never can become equal to them, so that they don't lose control. Right? So they don't want competition. But how do you ensure that there isn't another, it's already too late. It's already too late, just to be clear, for the elite, but for the elite, right? But what you would try to do is, if you thought you still had time before you could stop the truth from coming out, for life to come through, if you didn't want a Jesus to come through, an anomaly, if you wanted to stop the Mandelas, if they fucking did anything, but let's just say all those symbols of change, right? But Jesus, Bernard, all those guys from coming through, you would make it so that human beings stop reproducing. They already have all the propaganda as why you shouldn't have kids, why women shouldn't have kids, because they're just a drain on your resources and they fuck up your life and there's no point. And also it's horrible for the planet. The carbon emissions are so high, it would be irresponsible to have a child, right? Meanwhile, China's like rewarding you for having 3 children, right? That's the flip side. Now, the other part of that, hey, Jess.
Jess, give us a one-liner.
The way you do something is the way you do everything.
Boom.
Brilliant. And look at how she delivers this food. Dang.
Wow. God damn.
Perfect.
Yeah, look at how she delivers that. The way she does that is the way she does everything.
Wow.
Graceful. Yeah. Boom. Let them know. Wait, hold on. Jess, describe what's on that plate.
Okay, so we have air fried breakfast potatoes with squirrel sriracha sauce.
It's like actually from a squirrel.
No, it's not. And then we have these are eggs that I made on the griddle on the stove.
From the neighbor?
They're local organic pasture raised chickens. And this is the
chickens may or may not actually listen to the Self-Perfected podcast.
And this is a buttermilk chocolate chip pancake.
Wow.
And
with just the right amount of syrup, so it's not too much.
Cutie. And
no, this is a cutie.
Hey.
That's a cutie great shit.
And then this is brewed cacao, which is like the chocolate bean instead of a coffee bean.
Oh, dude, Jess turned us on to cacao. I think I'm close for life. That shit is.
Hey, that's what's up.
Yeah, that's unreal.
Hey, podcast members, I'm just gonna tell you right now, this podcast is the best podcast in the world.
Comment best podcast
for all of you who used to watch.
Comment shout out Jess.
Used to watch the beginning episodes and remember me getting close to the mic. This is for you. This is for you.
Shout out, leave a comment if you remember when Jessica was on the episodes every time.
Hey, Jess. What do you think of Mitchell's jokes?
I enjoy them. I think they're funny, I think they're weird, and I think they're unique.
That is amazing. Guys, you heard it here first, folks. Oh, man, we should have put that behind a paywall. Find out the real truth about the Snyder jokes.
No, we have their credit cards in the chat.
Hey,
already.
but my jokes are even more off the wall. So it's
yeah,
I agree.
Jess and I went to an open mic one night, actually multiple times, and there's like stand up. Yeah, and she's like, I could go up there.
Afterwards, I was giving my bit on the way home.
It was really funny.
Oh my God.
It was actually really funny. Okay. Thanks, Jess.
Right.
Next time we're in person. Bye, Jess. Thank you.
That'll be behind the paywall. So
something that has something that has come out of the podcast I don't know, it probably was happening before, but when I showed the quesadillas, when I was eating breakfast that day, I showed the quesadillas. The ladies are like eating it up and making that for their partners and for themselves. And Drake's like, oh, dude, we had the quesadillas that you showed on the podcast. It's hilarious. It's really cool. So now I got some new stuff. Air fried potatoes with squirrel sriracha.
Really
and then
good.
we got some beautiful eggs. Was that?
It's
really
actually
good. From a squirrel.
Yeah, and you know how Wagyu beef, if you don't know what that is, a lot of the time it's like fed a certain type of like, I think it's like some beer or something, and they like massage it every day, and apparently they play classical music for it. So for these chickens, I'm putting on the loudspeaker Self-Perfected podcast from the top on repeat over and over. The chickens are like understanding reality. Yeah, just kidding. I think they're ready to at some level.
They're barking at inequality.
Consciousness of the chicken. Yeah. Shout out. Equal. Okay.
So
we got a couple points to hit, but
I see the knots that we gotta tie up, baby. Were you gonna hit?
Should we do it, or should we just leave them open?
That'd be fucked, dude.
I know that'd be like.
Let's. You know what? We're only gonna do it if we get to 1 like on this video. We gotta get to 1 like before we wrap it up. If you haven't yet, go. Oh, wait! I have to set a moving target. We're only gonna do it if we get +1 likes. We have to get +1 likes. So you got to go +1. Whatever.
Just 2 more weeks.
Go to YouTube.
Do it for everyone. Don't be selfish.
Go to YouTube. Don't be selfish. Flatten the curve. Go to YouTube. find this podcast, go to the Self-Perfected channel. It'll be the most recent episode. Smash that like button. Fucking
Well, it'll be
smash
in
it.
the most recent episode now, but I
Oh
don't know.
shit. You're right. If you guys are listening to this retroactively, like, or if you're listening to this in the future, go find this episode. What episode number are we at?
I don't know.
Yet?
70 something?
Oh shit.
Maybe 74? Oh my god.
That's awesome. That's really good. Is it? Consistency, right?
Oh, dude. Be consistent.
Okay, so to stop the anomalies, like the people who would actually have a being coming into existence that would have the potential to change things. I'm just talking about it from the elite perspective. It's already too late because we have the tools of equality in physical reality now. So everybody can walk their process and become equal. So, but in order to stop that, you would want to stop people from having children so that beings can't be put into the human body. So you don't have human beings anymore. You ever think about that? Human beings, it's your being, and then now you're in a human body, so you're a human being, right? So what you can do is convince everybody to stop having kids. That has been an awesome tool for the elite because there's so many people who don't want to have kids, right? I didn't want to have kids for a long time. They got me for a while, but they didn't get me.
I was always just like, I need to wait at least till I'm like 30. I'm not ready.
And see that the thing is, we don't know what's going to happen in that time. It's just that point of not feeling ready. That never changes. For those of you who are like, I got to make money, all that stuff. What was that?
Yeah, which is such BS. It's just accepting limitation and accepting its use. I mean, if practically like you're moving and in 2 months you're going to be at your new place and it's like a stressful move, sure, wait to have kids stay there, but then go do it. If you're giving some excuse of, I don't, okay,
Exactly, right. But here's the fascinating thing. When you conceive a child and you find out that child is conceived, you have 8 fucking months. That's a long time before anything really changes, right? So my point is, whatever's going on, like if you can't figure out your shit in 8 months, like how much money do you really need to be making a month in order to sustain a child, right? So what I'm saying is, we're in a unique position now that for anybody listening to this, you may not feel like you're ready to have children because you're not far along in your process and you're not perfect yet and all a bunch of stuff. Here's the reality. Here is the reality. You having a child from where you're at right now is certainly far ahead of any average person who doesn't have this process having a child. You having a superior child is as simple as this. Make sure they have the tools. That's it. Maybe you can't put yourself on a private island with no external stimulus so you don't experience any stress while the baby's in the womb. Maybe you can't give your baby everything that it could possibly have right now in this moment. But if you just support that child with these tools and you support it, you support their natural instincts to breathe, to forgive, to live by principles, to want to create a heaven on earth, all these points, you have set that child up beyond anybody, any average child that's being born today. So don't hold yourself back in that regard.
Yeah.
Right.
The world
the other thing with that is, well, thank you.
Hey.
This is a green juice.
Ooh.
This is a mix of. Oh wait, if you want to know what's in here.
If you want to know, when Asif says the juice.
Yeah.
See what it means.
If you want to know what's in here, mail a check to the Snyder residence. Mitchell's address is. No, I'm just kidding. So going back to the birth point, right? Stop beings from coming into physical reality, and boom, you don't have anybody who's going to challenge the system. Best way to do that, convince everybody to put themselves, I'm doing air quotes, into a robot. Because what those people don't realize is two things. There's two things, okay? One, robots aren't recreating, right? They're not procreating. They're not having children. So boom, cut all that off. And two, I want you to imagine this, right? You're in that surgery situation or whatever, to put all of your consciousness in all of you into that robot, and you're going to make that robot a citizen. This is what they did with that robot. What was her name? The one who, the first citizen in Belgium, or you know what I'm talking about? I don't know their name, but it was
I
like
forget the name.
Yeah, it's a robot in Denmark or one of those countries. It's the first robot citizen to have like citizenship, right?
Wow.
So they're making it so that your robot, the robot that you download into, right? Download your consciousness into, you think you're downloading all of yourself. Everybody's saying you're downloading all of yourself into that robot. And you sign the paper where that robot is you now, because you just want a better vessel. You want a better body, right? Where you can live forever. You're going to sign away all your rights to that robot because you're saying, yeah, I'm going into that robot, right? And then your body is going to be done with. It's going to be an empty carcass, right? What I mean by that is you're going to download all of yourself into the robot, and that robot is going to be like, cool, I'm me, yeah. Do away with that body. And you're not going to be able to do nothing because you're going to be down under, and they're going to have a system of just getting rid of your body. It's killing your body, but your being is still in that fucking body.
Right.
And you're just going to die, and you're not going to be able to be born back into this
Yeah.
world. So that's the big
even with the not having kids, like if the idea of the consciousness being put into the robot is like too much, you can't handle that right now. Well, one, use your techno tutor or get techno tutor so you can understand that stuff. Just look at Ray Kurzweil's been talking about it. Dude, Ray Kurzweil's been talking about it for like 10, 12 years. Like, this is not new stuff. This should be known. This should be on the news every day. We should run the news. We should have a news channel that's broadcasted on the YouTube main page. We'll get there. Or it'll be our version. Instead of YouTube, it'll be like
SBTV.
Oh, that's clear. I was coming up with the joke, but I didn't set up the punchline. Don't worry, I'll come up with it later. But even if the robot's consciousness is too much, just look at how seduced people are going to be by the metaverse, and you can go have your, fantasies played out and everything, and you're in the metaverse, you're amazing, and in real life, you're like overweight and unhappy and fucking depressed. It's like you're going to want to have a kid anyway. You might not even have the sperm count that you can have a kid.
Right. And you know the point of people not feeling ready to have kids, and then they enter into the metaverse and spend all their time. They're never going to feel ready to have kids.
Like, I just have my kids in the metaverse.
Exactly. Right. You don't need any.
Dude, imagine that. Like a Forbes article.
Oh, is this for me? You want to say hi to? We're doing the podcast right now.
Hey, Max.
Hi.
This is the microphone.
Hey, bud.
It's cool to see you guys. I'm just saying that I know
Yeah.
You what?
Yeah. We're in the same screen. Yeah.
You know what, Mitch? I think you're really smart because I think Drake's here too. Where's Drake?
No, he's not on.
He's not on the podcast.
It's only me and Mitch and you now. Who brought me these nuts?
I cracked them myself.
Oh, really? Wow. Thank you. This is perfect, actually.
Wow. Breakfast delivery from Max.
Thank you.
I've got to tell you, there is one almond.
You just took my one almond?
I just took it.
Oh, cool.
Don't worry, you have more.
Cool. What you up to? What do you think about being in Florida?
It's nice.
Yeah, what do you like about it? Speaking to the mic so people can hear you. They want to hear you.
I know that I really think Florida's hotter than Houston.
Yeah.
And Jefferson.
Hey, Max, can you speak just a little closer to the mic so we can hear you?
Once it was like there was like frost in Jefferson, and in the wagon was ice.
Ice in the wagon?
Yes.
Wow. That sounds kind of cold.
I think it's nice.
Did you sleep well?
It was nice, yeah.
It was nice ice.
I'll be right back, guys.
Okay.
Okay. See you, Max. See, imagine that, right? Imagine Cameron and Katie didn't have Max, right? If they just bought into the BS programming and they're like, because initially they didn't want to have kids, right? I'm sure you've heard Max and Katie's story, or Cameron and Katie's story. But then they saw the common sense of it and the purpose behind it and what we're here to do. So now you have Max, brilliant little kid. If you haven't seen the videos of him, he's got a video of him being 4, I think 3 or 4, and he's reading. You know when you get a device, like for example, Katie got a bread maker. So a thing in the kitchen that makes like bread. And you know how it comes with a manual, and even the adults don't read the manual. There is a video on YouTube of Max reading the manual and then answering questions about it. So it's like, imagine, right? A lot of people are not going to see the significance of that, but most 4-year-olds, they don't read, much less comprehend. And you might think, oh, kids remember the alphabet, they can recite the alphabet. That is very different than grabbing up a random book and reading.
Look at this book. This book, look at it.
The Secret Lake. Yeah, I'll just read one sentence. I wonder where Harry's gone this time, Stella murmured as the sound of their mother's piano playing wafted through the morning breeze.
This book, Max literally just goes and reads it on his own. And after like the first day, Cameron was telling me Cameron's like, how you liking the book? He's like, I'm on chapter 6. And Cameron was like, you really like, you really like you trying to just skip through it, or like, he's like, okay, so like, what happened in the book? And Max just starts telling the entire story of what happened from chapter 1 to chapter 6. Think about what this child is going to be able to do when they're focused on one particular thing.
Right. He's 5. Just turned 5.
He said a lot. Right? What are you going to want to do?
Well, of course, if you're focused on that one book, you're going to learn a lot more than you already know.
Yeah. And what do you want to do as you get older?
I bet it'll be really cool.
Mhm.
If I read more challenging books.
Like what challenging books?
Like more challenging.
What would you want to read about?
I would well, probably that. That's a pretty good book.
What do you think of this book? You like it? You like this book?
Mhm.
What do you like about it?
And then it's like this last dog.
Oh yeah. Okay.
The hidden time to my secret life. Take time to home and show her.
I don't know if you guys can hear it, but he's reading like directly out loud. He's like, a lost dog, a hidden time tunnel, and a secret lake is like just reading it word for word. What is all this? Who brought this, Katie?
I did.
You brought it. Show the camera. Hold it up in front of you. Explain to the people what that is.
It's a nutcracker.
What? I thought 5-year-olds are not supposed to use nutcrackers.
I can use them.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't account for smart 5-year-olds, eh? You cracking nuts? I hope so many nut jokes right now, but anyways. Oh, nice. All the empty stuff.
Actually, all the nuts.
Should I tell Chantal's story?
Yeah, I think so.
Hey,
I'll give you a bite size. Oh, yeah.
actually,
What nut is this?
peanut.
Chantal, she had, I don't know if somebody commented like good podcasts to listen to or something like that.
Yeah, that was it.
Here is the bag of nuts.
Nice. You're a bag of nuts because you're nuts. Huh? Yeah. You're nuts.
We can all share these nuts. We can share the pictures of them.
Pictures of them. That's awesome.
It's nice to be with you, Asif. I know.
It's nice to be with you.
So
Hey, how could you hear me, Mitch?
Because when you're talking to this, you can hear it. And everybody who listens to this later, they'll be able to hear it too.
yeah,
What do you want
Max,
to say to the people?
Max,
Censorship is best for everybody in the world. Is that right, Mitch?
I agree with that. Yes, because I agree that everyone needs a real good education, the best.
Actually, once I created a techno-tier lead that created another lead.
You created a technical lead that created another lead.
Yeah, I created a lead with a woman, and then I asked her to tell her husband about techno-tier.
Why'd you ask her to tell her husband about technical?
without Ukraine never leave.
Gotcha.
That's true.
And why do you
That's
think?
smart.
Why were you talking to the lady about getting technical?
Well, so that I could get more money.
That's smart. Yeah, exactly. So this is important, right?
So like
Hey,
if they
Sandra.
buy Techno Tutor, Cameron doesn't get the money. I get the money because he gives it to me.
Wow. I'm excited to see what you do with that kind of money, Max.
Don't you want an ATV or something? You want to come Sandra?
Oh yeah, I want two things actually.
I
Okay.
can see your head.
It's like a dragon, and then it's like this toy. It's a giant toy dragon in the general store, and then and then there's another ATV.
Okay.
So imagine what he's understanding. It's like, oh, if I communicate effectively and communicate the value of something, then I get what I want out of life.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
Mitch, what were you gonna say? Were you gonna ask him something? Or?
Oh, I was gonna say, Max, do you have how about this? What I think would be cool is if you shared one piece of wisdom or a piece of advice for all the listeners. Because I know Asif and we want to finish up a couple other things we were talking about, but I know I want to hear it. I'm sure our listeners want to hear it too. What's a piece of advice? Yeah.
I don't really know if I can, but let me think.
I'll let you
Okay.
think, and I'll say hi to Seneca. Hey, Seneca.
Hey, look, Mitchell's asking.
Hey,
He said, "Hey,
you in Florida?
you in Florida? Did you sleep well last night? Who put you to sleep? Who put you to sleep?" So Chantal,
Okay.
Max,
Okay, I've got one.
Okay.
now I feel like Cameron. I get it.
Okay, so do you know that school is worst thing to use to learn, but Technotour is better than school. But Technotour is not the best thing to use.
What is the best thing?
I'm trying to create it, but I don't know what I'm trying.
Oh, I love that, Max. And why do you say school is not the best thing to use to learn?
Because it doesn't teach you anything.
Yeah, got me there.
That is true. I went through school and I can verify for that.
Yes,
Yeah.
same. Cross-reference.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Thanks,
You guys
Max.
eat already?
Nuts.
Nuts. So could you eat?
Nuts.
You guys like nuts?
Cereal.
Cereal.
I'll crack a few nuts.
Yeah, crack them. And me and Mitch will keep going with the podcast.
Yeah,
He waved.
I'm sure Asif will be done soon.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye,
Maxie.
He'll probably be here crunching stuff.
Hi.
Oh, okay.
So basically, when
Oh,
Chantal,
Turn down your mics just a little bit.
hello, what was that?
Oh yeah.
Is it
Yeah.
Is it
It's good. Yep.
okay? When she was asking for a good podcast to listen to, Mitch had posted the link to this podcast,
Mhm.
and she started listening to it, and right away she was like, okay, this is what I had been looking for.
Mhm.
And then don't do it too loud, right? That's so cute. And then Chantal got on a call with Mitchell, and she just needed that one call to be like, okay, let me actually talk to the people to see if they're the real deal. Talks to Mitchell, joins Self-Perfected, becomes a distributor, starts working with us. And ever since that time, she's telling, because we were just hanging out like last week for a couple of days. Man, that was a good crush, dude. Nuts is just flying everywhere. That's your nose. It's my ear.
Ear nose. Oh yes.
And what she was sharing was all the ways in which her life had changed. She had totally took her life in a completely new direction, left the med tech field, is now got into a relationship with Owen. And I was talking to her about it, and she's just telling me how perfect they are for each other in terms of supporting each other in their process.
Wow.
And she's never had a relationship like that, where you can talk about everything, let them know how you're feeling, what you're going through, everything like that.
You know
And
what I
trust
like the best
that the
of
other person will
nuts?
support themselves to work through it. What'd you say?
You know what? nuts, like nuts with salt. I can go get some.
Ooh,
Let me get some salt. I'll be right back, guys.
see you in a bit.
See, isn't it funny
And
for everyone
so
listening right now?
And,
Do you have
and real
that
quick,
little?
just to say, just to finish that story, is
Mhm.
like Chantal and Owen, they've now moved across states to start a brand new life where they're focused singular on a singular purpose. And she doesn't have to work anymore. It's like, and she's focused on the greatest purpose possible. And it's just mind blowing what came from Mitchell just sharing a link in a comment thread of a post.
Mhm.
Changed her life forever. Owen's life forever too, because they got connected. They were both distributors, and their children, the children that Chantal goes and has, are changed. Their path is changed forever because Mitchell took 2 to 5 minutes out of his day and just posted a link to the Self-Perfected podcast in a bunch of comments.
Mhm.
So just a little enticement as to why you should do it, to just take that time to give a little bit, because you never know how profound of an impact it can make with somebody else. Go ahead, Mitch.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like it may sound like we're joking when we say go spam, but I'm like completely serious. Go share this, right? Otherwise, what? Just keep it to yourself and let the world keep crumbling. It's like, no, because there are a bunch of other people just like Chantal out there looking, they're searching, and they're willing. Even if you drop the comment, then Chantal was the one who reached out to me, right? I just opened the door and she's like, hey, like, can I talk to one of you? Like, what is this? Is this real? You know, it's like, yep, we're real. So that's cool. Yeah. And the other point I wanted to share was just notice everyone who's listening, right? Having a Max and Seneca here, and just like
Max is showing some.
if you're not on YouTube, you got to see this.
Oh my
Do you
gosh.
know what? Do you guys know what kind of nuts these are?
Show them again. Comment it below. Comment it below.
It is.
What nut do you think Max just held up?
I think,
Show them.
okay, I think I know what it is. I think it's a chestnut.
But don't say, oh, a chestnut?
Is
You know
it a
what it is?
chestnut?
I do.
What is it?
I won't tell you.
Oh,
Comment it below.
Another open loop.
that, Max will get Cameron or himself to comment it, what
Mhm.
the nut is later on.
No. You guys.
Tell them. You guys what?
You have to find out what kind of nut this is.
Okay, I love it. Hey, Cameron's here.
Hey,
What's up, kiddos?
just when you thought you could have one episode without Cameron on, surprise.
Yeah, so you thought.
Guys. My buddy Max. Hey, what kind of nut is this?
I think it's a chestnut, but I must be wrong.
It's not.
What is it?
You
An almond?
answer.
Is that an almond?
Yeah!
It is?
It is almond.
Oh, that's an almond.
Really? I've never actually seen the shell around an almond.
Come on, guys, let's bring this downstairs so they can finish the
Ooh.
podcast.
But he said I could.
I know, but practically speaking, it's
Can you hear
better
that?
if we're downstairs. Come on, I'll bring your nutcracker for you. Come on, Stan.
See you, Max. See you, Sunny.
Get these nuts.
Say bye.
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 See you down there in a little bit.
Sure.
See, isn't that amazing right there, right? Like the kids come in, because the point I wanted to share was how parents and adults can tend to suppress kids. But oh, just, they want to like control. And when you hear Max, right, he just grabs the mic. He might say what he wants to say right away. He might have to think about what he's going to say. And it's just enjoying that experience.
Well,
Right,
dude,
like-
dude, you don't have kids.
Nah. Yeah, my bad. I don't have kids. I don't know what a child is.
Right, exactly. You weren't a child yourself, so
Yeah.
you wouldn't know what you would have liked when you were a child. So,
Exactly.
but you're absolutely right. It's like, because I've seen you, me, all of our, the people who don't have kids yet, around Max and Seneca, and it's cool because it's so mind blowing to everybody that you can support a child to just express themselves. And the most fascinating thing is a child understands way more than you think. You always think you just have to control them, get them to do what you want. But if you actually explain things, They actually make the best decision. One of the key questions that I learned to ask a child is, well, if I were to do that to you, like, is that something you would want? And if it's something that they wouldn't want, they stop the behavior. You don't have to force them. You just have to educate them, support them to learn empathy, because empathy is something you have to learn. You have to learn empathy to understand how somebody else is feeling or what they're experiencing. So if you support a child to learn that effectively, that's how you support stable adults. And stable adults is what creates a stable community and a stable world. That's why it's so important to have kids, for everybody who's old enough.
Yes. So to bring it full circle, obviously people would come first then.
Oh, Mitch. I know. So I want you to consider your answer, right? Look at it for yourself, for the average person, right? And for the elite. Okay. But here's the answer. It's very simple. It's very, very simple. Business first, then money, then people. Business, money, people. Let's give a little bit of context on what business is. Business is the mechanism of creation. It's how you go from purpose to reality. Business is the medium of purpose expression. Business is the hole, the tunnel in which you pass through in order to create your purpose in reality. The byproduct of doing business effectively, in other words, creating the desired effect, is you create money, and the money is what attracts the people, and the money is what takes care of the people. A lot of people put people first. Those people, when you're in a closed door situation with those people and they can express themselves, they complain. The people who put people first, other people first, right? Oh, let me do, I'll spend whatever money, blah, blah. I've watched this happen where they're like, oh, I give you everything and do everything. And then they're complaining about how other people don't do the same. They're just becoming spiteful.
Yeah, it builds resentment.
It builds resentment. Exactly. Right. Because what another word for business is a system. You put the system first, and the system takes care of the people through money. System first. Systems thinking. That's what the elite do. Okay. This is going way back to the beginning of the podcast when we were talking about the reality of how to support this world to change and why it's significant. Because you are either one of those people who are focused on the people first, which makes sense. Like you don't just go based off what you said your answer was, go based off what you're actually doing, right? Because there are some really effective business people here. But at the beginning of the podcast, we were talking about how Abraham Hicks, Jerry and Esther Hicks, they don't focus on the money. No, they focus on the business, right? They say, oh, like, we're not doing this for the money. We're not doing it for the money first. They know that if they build a network of influence, then all they have to do is say, I'm putting on an event, and people will come and give them money. Isn't that interesting? But what happens if you go to put on an event right now? 0 people will come. Maybe 2, your dad and your mom, or whatever the case may be. My point is very small number of people, right? So when you're focused on building a system of influence, and you focus on doing the system processes such as, okay, let me put on an event, and it's united by money, people will go. If you do it for free, honestly, this is a really interesting phenomenon. But people don't value things that are free because they didn't have to give up anything in order to get it, right? So that's why there has to be money involved. Any strong community is based around money. Look at church. Look at church. The church spends a bunch of money to bring the people in on the buildings and all that stuff. And then in return, the people spend a bunch of money to support that, right? Same thing with. That's amazing. Come show the camera. Over here. Bring it right here.
Wow. What is it?
It's
A lizard.
Why do you got his hand on me?
Got his hand on you?
Yeah, look.
Oh yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Seneca the lizard catcher. Oh my gosh.
He's so cute.
Cute. You're holding him gently? Oh, you are. Good work.
Yeah, look, he's stuck his tongue out.
Yeah, his tongue is out.
I'm gonna go tell Katie about it.
Yeah, it's awesome. Good job.
Now I'm gonna give him some food.
You give him some food? Nice.
Yeah, because he's very
You're very hungry. That's amazing. Wow. That's so cute. He's so cute. So what was the last thing?
You're talking about churches?
Oh yeah, right. So the point is, it's all united by money. If there wasn't money involved, you can't build an effective community. Another example of effective communities, for example, is those long-standing MLMs like Amway and things like that. Because money involved, that's what attracts the people, right?
Yep.
So that's why Kevin is talking about who do you listen to. It's because people will listen to you if you have what they want. And everybody wants money. So this is the other understanding. The average person, they prioritize money, right? And then it mixes between money, people, business. That's the most common one. Because how many people are actually in businesses? How many people are actually successful in business?
Yeah, very, very few.
Right? They get attached to their employees, so they don't want to fire them in order to make more, to sustain a more effective business. Right? All these different phenomenons that I've watched happen across businesses, right? And so the point there is the way the elite are thinking about things is build a business where the byproduct of the business is money, and that will take care of the people. In the same way that if you build a system, right? This is why we're focused on changing the money system, because we change the system and that will change the value of money, which will change the people. Interesting, but we need a 1%. We need that core group of people who are going inside out first. And then they will implement the system that goes outside in. Because somebody asked me that, when you're born into this world, like, why do we get created as we are? Like, if we're creators, right? Why did we accept what we are, today, right? Because you didn't create yourself.
Mm-hmm.
The system created you. The system has impulsed you with a bunch of bullshit. And as humans, we collectively, we've created the system that now enslaves and controls us. Mm-hmm. So now we have to collectively, as a small group, a tight group, rise to where we need to be in order to create a new system that now supports us, supports life to come through. Because you can't have life in a situation where people are always struggling for survival.
Mm-hmm. There's a great quote. It's from one of Bernard's blogs. It's on something along the lines of, we are programmable beings in a programmable reality. So we're programmable, as is reality. But right now, our reality that we programmed over the past years and years and years is now programming us with a bunch of BS. So here's the ultimate tool, is the reprogramming tool to program yourself so you become more effective at programming to then make a world that then programs us. Just like Asif said, right? Starts with, well, we go into ourselves and then into the system and then change the system so that system affects us.
That's spot on, right? Because another point that he makes is we live in a programmable reality, as in you can just program the input and the system and that will create the output. So you can determine the output, you can determine the effect, the result by just engineering the system and the input, right? Mm-hmm. And he's saying even in a reality where we can program, where there's no kind of randomness or 100% self-expression, even in a reality where we can predetermine everything, we still can't figure out. We still can't figure out how to support everybody to become equal. So you really have to look at this for yourself, right? This is why we need to be using the tools on a consistent basis. On a consistent basis. And I know it's difficult sometimes. I know for a lot of the people it's difficult sometimes, but for the people that it's difficult for, my assumption would be that you're not participating in the group. My assumption would be you're not coming on the Friday calls, you're not coming on the Sunday calls. If you're part of the Self Leaders Club, which is a group of men who are all focused on getting wealthy and changing things, who are all using TechnoTutor, which if you have TechnoTutor and you've been consistent with your process and you're not in that group, feel free to ask about it. But if you don't have TechnoTutor, you can't become part of that, right? If you're not participating in those calls, if you're not participating in the self-perfected parenting group, oh, Maximus, right? If you're not participating in the self-perfected parenting group regularly, you want to look at that, right? Because that is what's going to support your understanding about why you should be using the tools consistently, right? You want to get on the self-perfected calls and go through the basics, because that is what Max says. That's right. Because that is what's going to support you to understand the context of what we're doing. Here's the thing. If you don't understand why what we're doing is so important, that's why you don't have what you want out of life. Like what I'm suggesting is if you don't have what you want out of life and you don't understand this, it's probably a good thing, because that means if you understood it, you're more likely to get the result you want, because right now your current understanding is not getting you the result you want, right? And so Mitchell is a perfect example of that, of somebody who didn't understand it fully, but he's like, okay, I understand that I have to do this process, and I'm going to continuously push myself to understand what the hell I'm doing, to the degree where now he's supporting other people to become remarkably stable in their own lives. From where you started, like, is it 2 years now? Yeah, two years and a bit now. The guy was not where he is today, right? Still doing a bunch of things that were not supportive to him. So for him to get to the point now where it's just, I gotta make sure I keep this open. For him to get to the point now where not only has he stabilized to himself beyond the point of just basic stability, because living on a ranch like that is not basic stability. That's where some people dream of. Mitchell, by the way, so many people have told me, oh man, I wish I could have what Mitchell has. That's what Mitchell was saying about Cameron's place, but then he created it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, don't separate yourself from me. Come on now. Like, that's literally you just accepting limitation. Like, don't do that. Right. It's yes, it's hard work, and I apply myself every day, and I've missed 2 days of TechnoTutor ever in the past 2.25 years or whatever. But like, even if you have missed some days or whatever, it's like, just stay steady, then don't miss any more. Like,
right, exactly.
Come on, you definitely have 30 minutes a day. You just don't. I was about to say you don't want it bad enough, but you haven't made it a need for you to build a business first and then create money, and then you have people. Right, so maybe you didn't know, but then also it's like, there's a part too where you got to just make a decision and just will it into existence, because you need the vocabulary, right? So you need the tools, and then let's say you have that. Now you just have to decide and use your force, your life force within you. Just go, you know what? I'm just going to figure this out. And I may not know, so I'm going to force myself to call someone that knows. And I'm going to force myself to go back in the rain and keep going and keep going and keep going. And then you make some decisions, right? And you just stay steady every single day. And then a new situation pops up, and then you capitalize on it. Oh, and it worked. Great. You got a victory. Okay. Then next, keep going. Boom. Another victory, right? Maybe you take a loss, another victory. And 2 years later, you have this, right? And then just keep growing and growing and growing.
And here's a practical one. Okay. Because right now we think it's like, okay, let's say, for example, you're like, oh, I didn't write today or something like that. Or you didn't do the thing that you needed to do today. And you start thinking about it, and you're waiting until your thought says, okay, I should go do it now. What I would suggest is, when you have the thought, when you start thinking about it, that's when you should go do it. Don't wait until till you justify, okay, I should go do it now. Don't wait until then. As soon as you have the thought of, oh, I didn't go do it yet, man, boom, right there, because you had that thought, equate that to, I should now move my physical body and go to my laptop, make that phone call, go out my front door, whatever the case may be. And that will set you on your course to exercising matter over mind.
Mhm.
Matter over mind. Use your techno-tutor to support yourself to changing that stimulus of when and as I have these thoughts equal make moves. Thoughts equal action. Thoughts equal action. Because there's no value in just thinking about shit. Right. So to take it full circle real quick, what does it mean to need to be a billionaire? It's when your purpose comes first,
Mhm.
when your business comes first.
Mhm.
Business comes before money. If you're saying I want to be a billionaire, oh, I was talking to somebody, I said, what's your dream? He's like, I want to hit 300 million. I'm like, why that? He's like, I like that number. I had that too.
Yep, I had that
But
too.
that is exactly right. You're like, there's some number in your mind. That is fucking irrelevant. You got programmed with that from something, right? And my point with saying that is that's focusing on the money first. That's what an average person does who never, ever breaks free from slavery. That's what an average person does. That's what somebody who never breaks free from slavery does. What I'm suggesting is focus on purpose. Another word for purpose is business. The problem with business is you can do a bunch of businesses now that have nothing to do with your purpose. You go trade this and do all that stuff. But there, once upon a time where there wasn't all these derivatives of business where you can bet on somebody making money on something. That's what you can do now, right? You take a option on a stock and the stock is saying, I think this company is going to go up. That's already 1 degree removed. And then you're taking an option on when you think this stock is going to go up or down. That's like 2 degrees removed from reality. But then you have the company that's actually operating and making money and fulfilling its purpose. Elon Musk, he's building something, he's fulfilling his purpose, right? He's bringing something into reality. If you focus on that, what you want to create in reality, that's what's going to make the money. That's what's going to take care of, I'm doing this for my family, all this stuff. Prove it, focus on your purpose. And what I would suggest is have the greatest purpose that you can have, because that way you'll build the greatest business that you can have.
Mhm.
If you build the greatest business you can have, you'll make the most money that you can make. And if you make the most money you can make, you'll have the best relationships. If the purpose is intact. If you have a shitty fucking purpose, you're going to be surrounded with shitty fucking people.
Mhm.
That's why everything's a reflection of you.
And that's what I noticed. Like I had the ultimate self-honesty check. Well, not the ultimate, but it was one of them.
Mhm.
And I was making really good money with e-commerce, as you saw, you helped me with, right? And I used techno-tutor every single day so I could become really freaking successful at e-commerce. And I did. And then I had a moment where I had to decide, is this really my best purpose? Spending a bunch of money to Facebook and a bunch of money to Alibaba for products that people don't really need, so they can put on a credit card that they probably shouldn't put it on, so it can end up in a landfill. Everything about that is everything I'm against. So, but my purpose was is creating that. So once I knew, okay, I can make money, techno-tutor works, this is awesome. Now, okay, pivot. What is the best purpose I could have? Which is educating people, learning how to sell, learning how to talk to people, add value, right? And then systematically sell techno-tutor as a distributor. And that's what I did. And it's worked remarkably well. And I'm still really just getting started. Like
Right. And
Clubhouse this
now
past
you're
weekend.
making. Sorry, go ahead.
The Clubhouse this past weekend, we had 30 people there again. Right. And it's like we have people here that are just moving way faster than I did. And then they're sharing with people, and then new people come in and they're like on board right away. And it's so fun. Cause it's like, dude, imagine if I just stayed with e-commerce. I was like, oh, well, I could use it to make $1 million. It's like, okay, I'm here to become a billionaire through building this business specifically. And I will have other investments and other things on the side only because it's going to then fuel back into the purpose. Because
boom, exactly.
Yeah, right. It's, okay, get crypto, right? I'm not getting crypto just to sit on crypto. I mean, if I do get crypto, it's going to be for a specific purpose, for a specific period of time, to then make even more money, to then fund our political campaigns and building techno-tutor even more, and building our clubhouse even more, and then building stadiums or buying stadiums, buying the convention center in town, buying media networks. That's all the business, but it all comes back to one central point, which is techno-tutor, which represents the equalization of all education. Because if every single person understands every single word and we can communicate as equals, that's then the system for a world that's best for all.
What's the first thing
Common
that
sense.
God did when he saw that the people on earth, they all united in one language and they were going to build a tower all the way to heaven? He's like, fuck those guys. I'm going to confuse the shit out of them and split up all their languages.
Yep.
So the point there to understand is let's just reverse that.
Mhm.
So that we can all come together again and build something amazing.
Yeah. That's what we're here to do.
And so.
And if you react to that, come on now. What's
Yeah,
your purpose?
Go read.
Is your purpose to continue the division and the confusion? It's like, it's
Right.
literally like, is that your purpose? You want to just keep going down this path? Or do you want to actually stand up and find a way to unite everyone? First, in yourself, unite yourself within yourself on your purpose. Then within your community, well, your family, community, then your state, or whatever your local area is, and then your country, and then the world. But not some United Nations BS. We're here to read what United Nations actually means, right? None of this Agenda 2030 bullshit. They're just helping put in the infrastructure.
I'd rather you have a shitty name for your group, but do the real thing, than do shitty things and have a nice name like United Nations.
Yeah, exactly. And so just join Self-Perfected and then use TechnoTutor. And then let's all be united in this one group. And let's do this for real. I mean, we are doing it, but obviously we need more people.
Look, in Ottawa, in a matter of a month, they had 50 people at their last clubhouse. 50.
Yeah.
Right? And so the point there, and they have a lot of people focused on that point through that community. And so the point there is, watch this. How do I know that the reason Mitch made all that money is because his purpose and his starting point? Well, guess what? When he made $30,000 in a little over 2 weeks.
In profit, not revenue, for all you people.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah, and I made 50,000.
I remember talking to somebody that they're like, yeah, I made 1.5 million in revenue. Or sorry, 1.5 million in my business. I said, profit or revenue? They're like, oh, revenue. I'm like, oh, cool. How much was profit? They're like, none of it. And I was like, I didn't even know that was possible. None of it. What do you mean none of it? I'm like, well, you must be paying yourself, right? They're like, yeah, I'm paying myself about $1,000 a month. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
I was mind blown.
That is not okay. It's not acceptable.
I was mind blown, right? I had somebody else, she's like, I'm like, how big did your business get? They said like 1.3 million, right? And I'm like, okay, and how'd it go? You sell it? She's like, no, lost it all. Didn't get anything from it. I'm like, how do you do that, right? So that's an education point. So what I'm saying is Mitch made 30K profit after, months ago, his best month was 3K. About 4 or 5 months before that, right? My point in saying that is he hits 30K and that was his last month in that business because of the exact reasons. What Mitchell said to you is what he said to me over the phone. Honestly, he's telling me this over the phone. He's like, yeah, dude, I think I'm just going to drop it because for all the reasons he just said about the products he's selling, the people who are buying it, all that stuff, what am I supporting, all that stuff. And I'm like, I was keeping my mouth shut because I was like, really? You're going to drop 30K a month? You're just going to let it? Well, because he's so focused on the purpose. And now he's making more money than he ever did.
Yes, because that's what I knew. I was like, okay, this is the test for myself. And I already knew the tools work, but I was like, another perfect example for me to prove to myself these tools work, I can do it, is I understand why I made the money. I understood what I did, right? The business to make the money. So therefore, I get the basic principles of business. Okay, just apply it within this because it's actually best, right? To educate people, obviously.
Exactly.
So
right. Oh, and if you want to see a system, that was the same process for me. I made 30K and I was like, holy shit. And then I didn't have as much ease as Mitchell did. Well, what it seemed like to me, I know he was using the present a lot. But my point is, I was like, dude, I could just keep building this and make $1 million in 18 months and then do the right thing. But then I realized, oh, it's about who I am today. Because what if I die in 30 breaths from now? Could I self-honestly say within myself that I was actually focused on making this world the best? Or was I just focused on, I want to make money for myself? Because who you are is not the idea that you have of yourself when later. Who you are is what you're choosing right now. So don't try to fucking goof yourself into thinking, I'll have kids once I'm better. Because that tells me I'm purposeful. Oh yeah, I'll become a distributor and share this thing that's really helped me later. I'll focus on making a difference, all that stuff later. Because you use that to feel like you're a good person. You're not a good person because you're showing who you are today. You'd prioritize your self-interest over doing what's best. And what I'm saying is that's not even going to give you what you want. When I made that decision to let it go, right? And focus on this. Same thing for Mitchell. This is, years later for both of us. We're both 100% certainly. I know Mitchell's money situation. We do a lot of business together, right? He's making a lot more money than he did then. So my point is, if you don't see it right now about why purpose comes first before business, or as business, you can wrap it up into one. But I would say it comes first before business, because that determines what business you get into, before money, before you're taking care of the people, yourself, and the people around you. That's why you're not at the place that you want to be, period. So how do they change that, Mitchell? Tell them. Drop them on. Hey, if you thought we went from jokesters to savages real quick in this one podcast, Mitchell always says that. We'll have you laughing. We'll have you crying. We'll have you thinking, cogniting, right? Comment which segment you like better. There was the pre-kids, the kids, and the post-kids. Which part was your favorite? If you had
Like
to rank
life,
those,
right? You just joke around, then you got kids, and it's just
yes,
all fun is out the door.
This was all symbolism. You guys didn't even know we were planning this shit, hitting you with all the meta stuff, right? I said, yo, send the kids.
We had that on cue. We had like, okay, Max enters now, right?
Yeah, bring in peanuts and start cracking them on my deck.
Fake lizard. Imagine.
Fake lizard.
Imagine.
So that's the playing field that we're fucking on. Where you at?
Seriously, where are you at? Because like you either care about creating a world that's best for all,
Through
and
your
you
actions.
care about educating yourself enough to understand it. And
your
best for all means best for you. Remember that. Or you just care about, the shiny object or whatever a bit more. Yeah.
And don't think that because you're part of the squad, you're absolved.
Yeah. I know a lot of people who are saying that they're aligned in purpose, but who they are today, they're not out there talking about it. And so
nobody's safe. Nobody's safe.
Right. Even if you bought that self-perfected hat and it looks great, and the self-perfected shirt, which also looks great, if you're not actually out there talking to people, facing your fears, going through your resistances, having fun, building a clubhouse, on the self-perfected calls, doing DIP Lite, doing DIP Pro, doing the TT. If you're not doing that every single day, or at least consistently on a weekly basis, right? You're not serious. So
if you want to know how to develop the mindset in order to do that, just straight up put your routing number and account number in the comments of the chat, and we'll send we'll send you a direct debit form, and we will take out all the money in your account, and then we'll be able to share with you the secret. Or you can just do what Mitchell said. Either one works.
Yeah, the choice is yours. Awesome. So yeah, that's that. I don't have anything else to say.
What do you think, bro? What do you think? We slapped it up?
Slapped it up. Smacked it up. Smacked that.
Like a piggy getting spit roasted.
Like Akon and Eminem or whoever was in that song.
Right? Like
that before your time? Am I dating myself?
No. Smacked that one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We slapped it up like a butcher slapping meat.
Yes.
We smacked that up.
Slapped it up
like
that lab-grown meat went through that conveyor belt with the AI robot pressing it, just like that.
Freaking slapped it up like it was freaking
like a cricket getting smashed, going into the Impossible Burger that you're eating, thinking is good for you. Just
boom, smacked it up, baby. Smacked it up like a ripe apple, just twisting it and pulling it off the tree. That's the self-perfected podcast right there.
Hey, you know it. All right.
Back to reality.
That's enough.
All right.
Bye, everyone.